Welcome in, Ricky Bo's Mailbag. I take your questions. We answer those questions to the best of our ability, and we put them out here on YouTube. You could also catch myself, Tyrone Johnson, Savannah Kelleher, on the best show ever on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. I'm here with Dylan McKinnon. Here we go, Dill.
Okay, this one is from Jason. Who has Kevin Long helped? He's supposed to be this great batting coach. Who has improved?
Well, let me start with something. Kevin Long has been around a while. He has had Trey Turner. He has had Bryce Harper. So these guys like him. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, is liking the hitting coach. And I will also say a lot of these hitters in the big leagues have their own personal hitting coaches. So don't be fooled that Kevin Long is the end-all, be-all. I mean, what you see on the field is what the player has to do. You can work as much as you possibly want in the cages with Kevin. You could do as much as you can down there, taking swings, going over videos, whatever. But, I mean, the player still has to do it. I mean, I think the hitting coach, number one, is always just the scapegoat. I think he's the guy that gets in trouble when the team's not hitting. If the team's not performing, if they're not hitting home runs, if they're not hitting with runners in position, with runners in scoring position, who do they focus on? The hitting coach. It's kind of an unfair position, but I mean, he does what he can with these hitters as much as he possibly can. And who has he helped? I mean, I'm sure he's helped pretty much everybody on that team. He can't go up the bat for him. I think that's one thing that has to be recognized. And you take that into consideration. The players have to do it themselves a lot.
This one is from Pete Jenks. Is it time to trade Ranger for another outfield bat?
Let me just say, I don't know if it would be Ranger. Apparently, Ranger's throwing the ball well in his rehab start, so don't question that too far. And you have to ask yourself, is Taijuan Walker the answer in the starting rotation? And in my opinion, I think Ranger's going to come up and he's going to take over that number 5 spot, and Taijuan's going to go to the bullpen. That would be the most reasonable thing that's probably going to happen with the Phillies. I don't think they're going to trade Ranger right now. I mean, I guess if it comes down to it, he could be a guy that you could send somewhere if you were to find a left fielder or a center fielder, because that position's been tough for the Phillies. I mean, Kepler's starting to come around. He's hitting the baseball, so you can't really get on him. It's just one of those things that this has not been 1 year. It has been about 3 years that the Phillies have been kind of searching for an outfielder, and they just can't seem to find one. They didn't really go big time in free agency after one. It seems like they go with that veteran type guy that might be able to fit in, and it just really hasn't worked out for him. But as far as Ranger being in a trade right now, I think he's got to get back to the big league level and show that he's healthy and can pitch.
Okay, this one is from Calm Dolab. Why is Marsh still getting at bats?
That might be the $1 million question. I found it odd that Rob Thompson said that we were going to see Marsh get 2, maybe 3 days off in a row and then come back and see what he has. Instead, he takes 8 innings off. He played in the game the other night, and then he comes back in and starts the next day. I found that a little bit puzzling. I mean, if you're giving the guy a mental break, give him a mental break. That doesn't seem like much of one to me. Brandon Marsh, I don't know if he would be better suited going down to AAA and trying to get his swing back, or I don't know what else you would do with him. I think the Phillies also feel some pressure because they traded Logan O'Hoppe in that trade for him, and he's a starting catcher at the big league level, so you got to think that the Phillies are thinking, well, we got to show that at least we got something back, and it's pretty much up to Brandon Marsh to fix himself.
Okay, this one is from Vic JM. How long will it take Dombo to realize he needs to replace the right-handed presence of a guy like Rhys Hoskins?
Wow, yeah, he really hasn't done that. I mean, you have guys in your lineup who are supposed to be big bats, which is Nick Castellanos and Alec Bohm. I think Casty's been fine so far this year. I think he's been swinging the bat well. He's hitting around 300. He's got a couple home runs. That's what you expect from him. Alec Boehm, he hasn't. I mean, you have to hope that he comes along and kind of gets his swing back, because he's a big piece of, and in all honesty, that's the bat you need to get going, because he's a big piece of this team. I mean, if he could get back to his average, I think that's going to show that, number one, he could battle through some adversity, and number two, he could show that, you know what, in the big leagues, you gotta forget what happens in the past and think about what you do today. When you're thinking about what happened yesterday, or an 0 for 5 game 2 or 3 days ago, you're never going to get better. The only thing that you could do is try to erase that memory and step back in there, and hopefully you get things going in the right direction. Finding a right-handed bat has not been easy. I mean, I think it's that simple, that, you know what, right-handed bats, especially power bats around the big leagues, it'll cost you a lot, either players or money, and the Phillies have kind of gone away from that.
This one is from Paladin7. Why is lefty on lefty so much more problematic than righty on righty?
The only thing I can think of, and this kind of goes from when you're in high school all the way up, you just see more right-handed pitching. And in all honesty, you get the time on righty better. The one thing against lefties, sometimes they're throwing the ball from behind you, and you don't get a good feel on where the pitch is going to end up. If you don't recognize the pitch, you're going to bail out. You see it from the best hitters in the league. We see a guy like Bryce Harper open up his hips a lot and kind of bail a little bit when he's up against a tough left-handed pitcher also. And it's just from not being able to see them a lot. If you think about it, you look in the big leagues, how many right-handed pitchers are there, starters, in comparison to lefties? It's just that simple. You might see a lefty maybe once, twice a week, where you're seeing a righty 5 or 6 times a week. So just in general, it's going to be easier for a left-handed hitter to hit against right-handed pitching. You look at the right side, you don't get a lot of platooners over there, because these guys see right-handed pitching all the time. They've seen it their whole life. Since Little League, they were facing a ton of right-handed pitchers. So I think it's almost like one of those things. Repetition is always a good thing. Well, when you don't see a lot of lefties, it becomes a tough at-bat.
This one is from Silvana. Does Ricky think he could do better than 4 for 37 if he got the same at-bats as Brandon Marsh?
Right now, I don't know. Maybe when I played, I probably could have. I mean, 4 for 37 is a rough go at the big league level. I guess considering I was 2 for 13 or whatever in the big leagues, I guess that makes me 4 for 26. So that would have beaten that out. So, but I mean, it's all about pressing. You know what? He's hit in the big leagues before. When you start to slump and you don't feel like you're getting out of it and you can't dig out of it, you're just going to press harder and harder, and it just makes it worse. Thanks, Silvana. That was fantastic.
Silvana I could hear her in the back. She did chime in saying, right now.
Right now, no.
This one is from Phillies Thoughts. Ricky Bo, have you ever been so heated in the postgame that your co-hosts have had to console you during the break?
Yeah, I have. I will say more in the Kapler-Klentak era, because I can tell you the one game that I was absolutely chapped. And, well, actually the one series. And it started with Kapler's first game, if you remember. He pulls Aaron Nola with a big lead. Pulled him. And like a low amount of pitches. There was no need to pull him in that situation. He pulls him out of the game. And then I believe it was either the next game or the game after. This might have been the worst. This really chapped my ass. He went out there and he calls for the left-handed pitcher. I believe it was Holby Milner at the time. He calls for the left-handed pitcher, and there's nobody warming up in the bullpen. What? Seriously? What are you doing at that point? You're going out there. You're calling in a guy who hasn't even warmed up. You got to be out of your mind. Yeah, so I mean, but Barkan normally doesn't help that situation. He kind of pours gasoline on the fire.
Okay, one more. As Rick Rock, we've already kind of touched on this, but at what point do the Phillies trade for a legit center fielder, and who are some options they could maybe target?
Well, here's the issue right now. We are in April. There's not a lot of teams that are out of it. And when teams are out of it, they're not really going to trade away a good player on their team. And obviously the Phillies aren't looking for a stiff to come play the outfield for them. I would not be surprised if the Phillies have a new outfielder in July when the trade deadline shows up. But before that, it's going to be tough because, like I said, even the worst teams in the league, they're trying to keep their better players, and they're trying to keep players that at least keep them afloat a little bit. You get rid of those players, then you're going to have a lot of problems. So I think it's going to be a push thing, and probably comes around July. Hopefully the Phillies won't need it. Hopefully something clicks with their outfielders right now. I don't know if that's possible, but there's always that hope. All right, there you have it. Ricky's Mailbag. You can catch us on the best show ever, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.